All right, let's say Allie cut a 30 by 30 centimeter piece of paper along a diagonal. So I'm going to draw that picture. It's just a square, and it's 30 by 30, and I know a square has all right angles. And it says she cut it along a diagonal, so I'm just going to draw the diagonal going through there. We have two congruent triangles. What's the length of the hypotenuse? Well, remember that the hypotenuse is the longest side, and this makes an L shape, so these are our two legs. So those are our two legs, and then this is the hypotenuse. And another way to think about that is the hypotenuse is the longest side. It also has the most letters, doesn't it? So it's the longest word as well. All right, so what's the length of the hypotenuse of one of the triangles? Well, all we need is the length. We could do Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. However, it wants simplest radical form, and there's a much quicker way to do it. I will show you what Pythagorean Theorem would look like, though. Your legs are a and b, so you would do 30 squared plus 30 squared. That's going to be a really big number, equals c squared. So this is how you would do it the long way. And then, my goodness, this is going to be hard because you take the square root of 1800, you want simplest radical form. So you'd have to break it down with the factors of 1800. Geez, that seems hard. I mean, you could do 100 times 180, and then 10 and 10, that's a perfect square. My whole point is, you can do it this way, but it's going to take a long time. So what's the shortcut? Well, what are your angles for this triangle? Well, I know this is 90 degrees right here. So a triangle has 180 degrees inside of it. So if I already have 90, then if I subtract 90 away, there's 90 that's left for these two angles. So that means they're each, and I know that they're each the same because it's a square, so they're each going to be 45. Now here's the cool relationship with a 45, 45, 90 triangle. 45, 45, 90 triangle, the sides are going to be in the relationship of 1 to 1 to square root of 2. So these are 1 to 1 because they're the same measurement, and the hypotenuse is going to be square root of 2 times bigger than the legs. So really all you have to do is 30 square root of 2, and that's your answer. It's that simple. So Pythagorean Theorem, I mean, in math counts, you're on a time test. You want to find the quickest way. So the quickest way is just to use that relationship. And you just have to memorize it. 45, 45, 90 is 1, 1 square root of 2. So just multiply whatever the leg is by square root of 2. Now there's one more relationship. There's a 30, and this one's a little harder to remember. A 30, 60, 90. If you had a triangle that looked like that, where you had basically one small angle of 30, one larger angle of 60, and then a right angle. That has a relationship to remember as well, and that one is 1 square root of 3, 2. And you can make a proportion to solve from there. Or it's actually, this is pretty cool. If the 30, let's say, if it was 3, look at this relationship. It's 1 to 2 for the 90, so that means you just double the 30-degree angle, the side that's opposite the 30-degree angle. So if you double 3, that would give you 6 for the hypotenuse. That's pretty cool. And that works for every 30, 60, 90 triangle. All right, I'll give you guys one to do on your own. All right, here's your question. Go ahead and pause the video and try it. Just a little bit different here. George cut a square paper along a diagonal to form two congruent triangles. What's the length of the hypotenuse of one of the triangles if the perimeter of the paper is 160? And remember, the paper is a square. So go ahead and try that. And here for the solution. All right, so the perimeter is the distance all the way around the square. And you have 4 sides. And we know they're all equal. So it's 4 congruent sides. So I could write my formula out, but I know it's perimeter equals 4 times the length of the side, and I know my perimeter is 160, so we could solve it like an equation. I'm guessing most of you can figure that out without doing that, so you just divide it by 4. So 160 divided by 4 is 40 centimeters for each side of my square. So they're each 40 centimeters. I'm drawing the diagonal. And remember, that makes a 45, 45, 90 triangle. And we learned that 45, 45, 90s, their sides are in the relationship of 1 to 1 to square root of 2. So that means that the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times bigger than the two legs. So we just do the legs times square root of 2, which would be 40 square root of 2. All right.